Good morning. It is early morning, it's first light, the mist just starting to form and it's chilly, but it promises to be a good day. The last couple of times I've been out, I've been trying new wrecks. Tried a new big wreck a long way out last time, and I tried inshore wrecks the time before that. That was mainly because due to time, tides, weather, state of tide, etc. It just made sense to try a new spot rather than the familiar spots which I knew were not going to work on the stages of tides that I was out. This time the tide is nice and strong. We're right on spring tides, so I'm going to go out to a familiar wreck. When I get out there, I should have 2 to 3 hours of really nice running tide. A lot of it's slightly dependent on the tide and wind. We've got a bit of east wind forecast to get up, so as ever we'll play it fairly flexibly when we get out there, but I'm still on the hunt to sort out the big fish deficit. Last two trips partially successful. I did eventually hit into fish, but I'm hoping that this one is going to be a bit more successful than that on the big fish front. Target species Pollock for this one. Great fish to catch. Yeah, nice to eat if you get the bigger fish that are out on the wrecks too. So yeah, I've got a fair way to go. The mist is just starting to form in the estuary. The sun will be coming up behind the houses. I've got a long way to go, and I'll see you out there. Okay, so we're out on the wreck. I've got a standard lure set up here, which I'm going to get straight into. I've gone for a 5-inch mackerel imitation sidewinder, standard lure setup, 10-ounce lead. We're drifting at a knot into the wind with the flood tide. So see how it goes. It's a bit windy than I was expecting. The sea was a bit gnarlier than I was expecting. Probably won't show on the video. It never does really. But yeah, it was a bit lumpy coming out. We've got an northeasterly wind. So coming out, the sea was on the quarter, and this hole loves it. Just chomps straight through, no problem at all. Going back, it's going to be right onto the bow, which this hole doesn't like. So a wet ride. Oh, straight into something. Yeah, potentially a wet ride back, but yeah, that's for a bit later on. A nibble straight off the bottom, but I don't want a nibble, I want a bite. It's going to be quite quick drift this through the wreck. We're just coming onto it now. There's one. Yes, it's taken it. A good start for drift one. That's a line coming off the reel. That's a reasonable pollock. That's what we came out for on this wreck. Worth the bouncy journey then. that is straight into a belter of a fish. Turn this around a little bit. That's through the wreck, so that's that drift over, but yeah, that's what we came for. Great size fish. Right, I'll sort that one out and get around for a second drift. The sun's at a funny angle today, and yeah, I'll try and get the best shot I can. But one drift, one fish. I did weigh that one. It's a bit tricky to weigh it when the boat's like this, but it was coming in between 9.5 and 10.5, so I'm calling that a double figure fish. Yeah, beauty of a fish. And on the first drift. I didn't stop for bait coming out here. I wanted to get out here with so I could fish this stage of the tide. I've probably only got a couple of hours of this before it slacks off. There we are, bottom. Yeah, so I'm just on lures today. If it slacks off, I might try and hook up some bait, but we'll take that as we go along. Fish this first. Just coming onto the wreck now. Maybe not quite there. What a start. Was it luck? Are they on the feed down there? Yeah, definitely just coming onto the edge of the wreck now. That last one was bang on the wreck, so hopefully that's where they are. There's one. Is he taking it? Yes. That's another good fish, I would say. When they're on the feed, they are brilliant fish to catch. Crunching dives down to the bottom, taking line off the reel. Not quite so big, that one, but another nice fish. However, that one will return. I'm sure there's bigger ones down there to take a fillet off. Down he goes. Right, round again. 2 drifts, 2 fish. Result. And they've both been bang on top of the wreck as well. Most wrecks around here, sort of 70 metres of water. This is no different. 71 metres, 0.9 of knot of drift. And the pollock on the feed, it would seem. I'll try and hold the rod up a bit higher, and hopefully it'll skyline a bit, and you'll see the take if there is one. There's the bottom. A little bit of interest. No, down again. Right on the wreck now. You see, I say we're in the right place, and the pollock are on the feed, and I hold the rod up for you to have a look, and we have our first drift without a fish. Drift 4. Hope I'm not going to regret releasing that that pollock from drift 2. Not what was that? Probably 4 to 5 pound fish, something like that. So you'd got some fillets off it, but I do prefer the thicker fillets to eat. Right, it's 2 drifts without a fish. I'll go for a change of lure. I'll put something lighter on, I think. The water's very dark and the sun, it's only 8 o'clock in the morning. The sun's still quite low, so there's not a lot of light penetrating down to 70 metres. So yeah, pop a lighter lure on. See if that'll do it. So the lighter lure that I've gone for is a bright yellow bomb squad. See if that can find them down there. The tide's not slacking yet, but it's been held off by the wind a little bit, so the drift has slowed down a bit. 0.7 of a knot. It was inevitable at some point. I might put some sabikis on later and try and hook up some smaller ones for bait, but at the moment they can go back when I can return them. Right, try again. Staying with the lighter theme to see it works, but I'm just going up in size a little bit to try and avoid the pouting. With a white Skerries Pro. Well, this isn't very positive. I hope I haven't just caught the tail end of the feed on this tide with them. And the pouting is certainly lively, which is not what I wanted. You can feel them on the lure now. Try again. I do know this wreck quite well. We have got, it fishes well in the tide. We've got 3 hours until slack water here, slack water top. So I was hoping we're going to get a couple of hours prior to that, where the tide would be running well enough to catch fish. Like I say, I know this wreck reasonably well. Once it stops fishing, it won't fish again until the tide runs. So if we're 3 hours before slack and it stops fishing well now, it's going to be 3 hours the other side before it starts, so 6 hours time. Maybe a little bit earlier, because we'll have tide with the wind, with the ebb. But I don't really want to be out here for 5 hours catching pouting or nothing. So we'll give it a couple more drifts, but if the fishing has gone on this wreck, we were just lucky to catch those first 2 pollock while the fish were feeding on the tide, and if they've stopped, they've stopped. Give it a couple more drifts first and see. If this wind would die down, the flood would still be pushing us along nicely. However, we can't stop the wind, we can't make the fish feed. That wind has just eased fractionally, and it's back up to 0.8, 0.9 of a knot. See if that makes a difference. I think what did make a difference was me saying the fish are on the feed. As soon as I said that, they've stopped. There we are. That is a really good fish. There it goes again. I've gone back to that Joey mackerel imitation, and just that little bit of extra 0.9 of a knot rather than 0.7 seems to be making the difference. Let's hope for that wind to stay down and the drift to stay up and the fish to stay biting. Not got it up yet, but this is a nice fish. Where are you? Let me move you over. There you are, sorry about the sky. Oh. Just fell out. Not quite as big as the other one, but that would be 7-8 pounds, something like that. And that is, yeah, a lovely fish that's coming home to be filleted. Right, let's press on while that wind still dropped. So I think I had 5 drifts, something like that, with no fish. And that was down at 0.7. At 0.8 to 0.9 and at 0.9 to 1 knot, definitely, they are biting. And we're 1 knot on this drift. I've done it again, haven't I? Edge of the wreck now. 1 knot adrift. Interestingly, that last fish at probably 7 pounds, something like that, fought much harder than the double figure fish. I thought it was, it's a lovely fish, I thought it was bigger though. Yep, looks like I've put the fisherman's curse on it, predicting a good drift. On that last drift, the tail of the sidewinder was hooked, which can sometimes happen when pouting bited it. So at the very start of the drift, I had a pouting bite, and if they just grab hold of the tail and pull it, so when it springs back, yeah, the tail can sometimes get hooked, and that isn't going to catch any fish. That's my excuse for that drift. Right, how are we looking on this one? 0.9 of a knot. Coming onto the edge of the wreck, all looking good. 0.8 to 0.9, swinging between. There was the pouting bite, so hopefully that hasn't done the same thing. Yeah, that breeze is in my face again, and we're down to 0.7 of a knot. There's always a bit of patience involved with fishing, but it might just be a case of waiting for the conditions to be right, or pressing on and catching fish when the conditions are right. Fingers crossed. It's just a slightly different bit of the wreck here. Yeah, we're on 0.7, 0.8 of a knot again. So yeah, try a different end of the wreck, see if that does anything. That sucked it. That's line coming off the reel. They've got massive tails, these pollock, and when they dive to the bottom, they just... I've got the drag set quite tight, and it's just pulling it off whenever it wants to swim down to the bottom. It's going to be another landing net fish. You come in. That is another lovely table size fish. Definitely get some good fillets off that. That's in between the others, so yeah, probably £8-9 for that one. And that sidewinder just in the top lip. There it is, starting to get a bit chewed, that one. And is there any wonder when stuff like that's giving it a chomp? Wonderful, 3 for the table. Change lures. That one is completely chewed up. Same size and shape, but a blue one. I haven't got any more of those in that size. There it is. Well, they don't seem to mind the blue. Just a little move on the wreck seems to have done it, because we're down at 0.7, and over the middle of the wreck they weren't biting at this drift speed. This one doesn't feel quite so big, but still a good fish, and it is a bit difficult to tell. A little bit difficult to tell from the fight. Then again, feels fairly decent. And that is another really nice pollock. very similar size fish. Again, top lip hooked, and there's that blue sidewinder. This one's been attacked by something in its younger life. Can you see that somewhere near my finger there? There we are, another great fish. I've got dolphins that have just come right up by the boat. Of course, they'll disappear when I get the camera out, won't they? Well, it's nice to see dolphins because A, it's nice to see dolphins, and B, if I don't catch any more fish, I've got a good excuse. Let's leave that there a sec. Right, there you are. Okay, the tide's dropped right off now. The wind has eased a little bit, and we've only got 0.4, 0.5 of a knot adrift. I drifted over exactly the bit of wreck that I wanted to with nothing, and I'm starting to get pouting nibbles. So, like I said before, once this wreck stops fishing with the tide, it won't fish again until the tide establishes in the ebb, and that's going to be beyond where I want to fish today. So, if we have got 0.5 of a knot, I might just have a go for a ling on the bottom, and I need some bait for that. So I'm going to have a little swap to sabikis, see if I can hook up something small. It'll probably be pouting. Hopefully they won't be too big. I prefer to use a whole fish. So if there are some small poutings, some scads, something like that, that would be absolutely perfect. So I'll sort these fish out for a minute. I'll finish my morning brew because it's still only 9:20, and put some sabikis on while waiting for that tide to slack even further. Yeah, and give it a go on the bottom. Well, I've finished my cup of tea. Gutted those pollock. I don't know what fulmar hierarchy is, but there's two. One was slightly bigger than the other, and the bigger one was letting the small one have none of it. It did manage to snatch a little bit and flew off, but yeah, it wanted the contents of 4 large pollock all to itself. Right, sabikis on, little size 8 sabikis, see if we can find something small. Yeah, there's something. Not quite as small as I was hoping for. We'll see. I can fillet something off, but I would rather I'd rather fish a live bait so that the pouting are not attacking it. See what we've got here at the first pass. Well, it's in the boat and it'll do, but that's far too large for live bait for me. Well, I didn't switch the camera on because I thought I was into another pouting, but here I am trying to feather up some small bait on some size 8 sabikis, and I got that monster of a scad. We'll see. Don't think I'm quite brave enough to use that for live bait, but yeah, I'll press on and see if I can catch something a bit smaller. I only want 2 or 3 small baits because it'll only be a brief window of opportunity to fish on the bottom before the ebb tide sets in. But yeah, the first 2 are a bit large, really. Well, that one fell off, but another massive scad. Well, you won't often hear me complaining about catching fish that are too big, but the fish I'm catching are too big. However, switch it off. Don't want to waste this opportunity to try and catch a ling while the tide is nice and slack. So I've got a big, I'm not holding it up there because it's very bloody, a massive scad snapper, scad flapper. There we are. That big bait has finally floated its way down to the bottom. Is that the right thing to say? Probably not. But you know what I mean. A lot of drag wafting around to get it down to the bottom. The boat noise you can probably hear behind me is the Anglo Dawn. He's got a boat full of charter punters hoping for something on this wreck as well. The skipper, Malcolm, lovely chap, and yeah, he'll put you on fish if you fancy a charter trip. I would imagine he's waiting for the ebb to set in and get his punters on the Pollock. Oh no, just found a snaggy bit. It's not what I wanted. It's a bit of old net. It's a bit of old net because it's coming up a bit and then going solid, and then it'll go down, and then it's coming up a bit and then going solid, so that's exactly what it is. Yeah, I'm not coming out of that. Okay. This is how I like to get it out. You can use your hand, but you never know. With a gloved hand's not so bad. I'd never wrap line like this around my hand, but round the priest, wait for the tide to catch up with it. There we go, that's gone. And the trouble with a Ling rig is everything is big and strong, so I think that might have snapped the main line, which is not what I want to do. Yeah, lost everything apart from the rig body, so I'll re-rig that and go with a more sensibly sized pouting bait. Okay, unsuccessful Ling fishing. So I'm going back to a lure. It's slack water, probably not going to catch pollock, but I just spoke to Malcolm and they said they had a John Dory out here yesterday. So what do I know about catching John Dory? Not very much, but what I do know is when I've caught them before, it's been at slack water, which we've got, and it's been on a long trace higher up in the watercourse on a small lure. So I've just got a standard lure rig on, the smallest lure in my box, little white sidewinder, and we'll give it a try. And when I get fed up of catching pouting, we'll give up and think of something else. That's my prediction. But John Dory are just fantastic eating fish. If you can happen across one, then yeah, that would be a complete bonus. But like I say, more than likely pouting. Well, that's through the wreck with just some little pouting nibbles. So yeah, try a few places on the way back, see if we can catch half a dozen mackerel to take home. Right, next job, 6 eating size mackerel. That should not be hard. It's the end of August. End of August in Devon is mackerel season. This is a good spot, although we are rattling through on the tide at 2.4 knots. Oh, hooked into something. Look at the colours on that. Tub gurnard. Very spiny tub gurnard, who is just about big enough to keep, but I'll let this one go. I think there was something else on with that as well. Not sure. But yeah, he was just about big enough to keep. I'll catch another couple now that size, won't I? There's one, and that is a beauty. One down, 5 to go. That is a very good size eating fish. Get that sorted and straight on ice. Hopefully that's the first of tonight's dinner. It's a little red gurnard all wrapped up. That's unwrapped. Let's get you unhooked. There we are. Tiny little red gurnard. Two differences between the red and the tub. Oh! These are wriggly. They're all wriggly. Two differences between the red and the tub. The tub gurnard's got the blue tinge to the end of the pectorals, and the red gurnard's got really rough skin, whereas the tub is soft and smooth. Round again. I've got two final spots to try. This one, which is just going over a ridge, which we're nearly up against. If that doesn't do any good, a little bit of rough ground inshore. And if that doesn't do any good, it's a starter as far as the mackerel are concerned. Well, the last try over a bit of rough ground, I just put it straight down, dropped it straight into a hole. My lead's got stuck in a hole and I've lost half my mackerel feathers. I'm not re-rigging that. So not the way I wanted to end the video, but there it is. Right, I won't end the video there. I'll speak to you inshore when I've gone in and got cleaned up. But yeah, I'm not re-rigging at that. See you in a bit. Well, the end of the day, successful day. Caught some big fish at last. Yeah, some lovely pollock there at the start of the session, which is when I thought they would be. That was when the tide was running. Nice tub gurnard, a couple of mackerel. Shame couldn't find more, but yeah, that's been the theme for the last couple of years, unfortunately. But yeah, really pleased with those pollock. Massive scad pouting, obviously, and a load of tiny little red gurnards. So there may or may not be some filleting in here. I've tried to film it. I'm not the best filleter in the world, especially at the estuary at the moment, because it's busy. We've got boats, wakes, rocking the boat about all the time, and yeah, like I say, I'm not the best filleter on dry land, let alone here on a rocky boat. But I do like to, if I can, put all the bits that would normally go in landfill back into the water, so they can do some good to the ecosystem. So there's the spoils of the day. So I won't be long finishing this video, because I want to get those in the igloo. But yeah, they'll make lovely eating. The mackerel will eat fresh, The whitefish I prefer at least a couple of days in the fridge, and ideally a couple of days in the fridge vac packed, and then a couple of months in the freezer. So yeah, they will all get eaten at some point. Next 4 weeks I can't get out, like I said earlier in the video, so not quite sure when the next video is going to be, but I will be out as soon as the weather and opportunity allows, and I hope you'll join me. Thanks for watching this one. See you next time. Cheers.